All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you today. All right. So now I can see everybody and see all of your comments and all that fun stuff. All right. So for today, we're going to be going into the next part of our branding exercise workshop. It's going to be a lot of fun today. Today, we're going to get to start talking about a personality and building a brand personality and how to do it the right way so that it, of course, becomes so awe-inspiring that it's amazing and keeps resonating in people's heads no matter what. So today we're going to be talking about what are archetypes. We're going to be going over each of them, the 12 main archetypes in depth. Well, not in depth, but we'll be talking about each of them. We'll talk about why you should be using archetypes in branding, how to use them, and then some key principles that you need to know to be successful to use archetypes in your branding consistently. Welcome back, guys. I'm very happy you're here. And this is part 8. So we are almost done. And I will be dropping parts 9 and 10 together in a couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. Let's jump in. So, an archetype, I'm not talking about coins or the video or the image on the blog here is actually the Medusa head in the middle of the Athena's shield. So those are more, what an archetype is a recognizable type of concept found in almost any brand, especially corporate brands. We see them a lot more there than we would in like a small one-person solo shop. So what we are looking and what we're looking to do with the brand archetype is we're going to be putting inspiration, or we're looking for inspiration for the brand identity, which will be the next part where we start as soon as we figured out the brand personality. So these will also turn around and be used in a ton of different ways. So typography, color schemes, shapes that we're going to be using in actual brand design. Each part is going to be directly impacted right here by the actual archetype itself. So that's what an archetype kind of is. So an archetype is a core concept. That's basically what you need to know. It's one of the core concepts that your brand operates on, and on the flip side, who your brand will resonate with. So the definition of archetype is going to change depending on the context, but of course, in all cases, it's a general example of something. So just like when we were working with our client persona and we were starting to build that client avatar, that's an archetype. That's why it's called client archetype, is one of the phrases of, of 30 or 40 different phrases to describe the same thing. So that's what an archetype is. It's been used in branding for decades, and it really is a wonderful tool. And I actually only became aware of it and started getting trained in it about a year ago. So now this is where this is culminated up here. So archetypes in branding are more about connection and building a connection with the audience that's on a more personal level, on a more one-to-one feel. So we want to talk about appeal. So we talked about in the last section how to do awareness. So awareness versus appeal. So we're going to become aware to a lot of people, but only a certain amount of people are going to appeal to what we have to offer. So inside the core demographic and the general public, how do you appeal to more than one person? That's where archetypes come in. And you'll see an example. I'll show you an example with us, a live example there. And then I will also share with you a couple of other little screen grabs that are from the brand building workbook, which once again you can get by, hold on, it's on this side. There we go. You can go to that link and get all of the latest resources, and I do send them out about every month or so. I'll make a new one for you guys. So let's talk. Just so you have a visual of what I'm talking about, this is the brand workbook that I am referring to that you can get inside of the newsletter. Let me move it around there. There we go. A little smaller. All right, anyway, it's going to go away in a second. All right, so anyway, let's talk about the archetypes. So there are a couple of main archetypes. Now, these are the most common. I'm actually going to leave this one big because I would prefer you guys to be able to see this versus to see me in this case. All right, so I'm going to move over to the side here. There we go. Okay, whatever. It's not working. So let's take a look at this in just a moment. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, anyway, back to the brand archetype wheel that I've got up on the screen here. We have a whole bunch of different archetypes, about, I believe the number was 60. So of those 60, here are the main ones that are, the most common and the most commonly used, and have the largest, the most direct appeal and the most frequent use. All right, so here we go. In each of these, there is, of course, towards the center, a core driver. So of that core driver, what variation of that core driver does your audience respond to? Now, of course, this is where we're going to start looking at our values. So let me pull up our brand sheet. I don't think I've got my screen shared for that one, so we won't share, but I will read them off to you. Transparency, community, customizability, competency, authentic originality, and social impact. So those are the ones that we use. Now, if we're going to go glance back at this archetype wheel, and let me swap it out for the one that's got our info on it. I think it's this one. There we go. So right here, we've got a couple of different types of archetypes that we use. And it's okay to use more than two. A lot of guides are saying to use only two or to stick to one. But I don't think that that is the greatest idea because of what we're trying to do with a larger appeal. Of course, we're appealing to more of a corporate branding, try to move away from the niche up and move towards the broad and the appeal. So that's where we're moving here. So in this wheel right here, we are creator, jester, and magician. Those are our three core archetypes. And I'll share the next part here in a second. Of these three different types of archetypes, and I'll pull up the description right here. Wow, those people are really loud at this moment. All right, so it's more of a complex archetype mix. So it's generally acceptable to have two, but we've got three. So following all of these directly in. So of the magician, we know that people are craving a power or some sort of feeling of power. So we know that that means that they want at the core to leave a lasting mark, leave their impact on the world, and kind of that whole narrative story there. On the other side of the creator, to more innovate, to provide structure and to create order. Now, those are our two primary archetypes. We do have a third archetype, which is the jester, which gives us our wider appeal. So in the jester, we are actually starting to appeal to more and more people to create a connection and a bond with other people. So that is what we are at there. Okay, let me remove this thing from the screen. All right, hi again. So those are our core archetypes. Now I do want to put this little thing on the screen. I don't know if I can even turn it around. It'd be nice if I could. No, I can't. All right, so let me share it a different way. Whoop. And we will look at it together. Getting pretty good at moving around on these live streams on the fly, huh? Okay. All right. Let me come back and share my screen here. Didn't forget this time. All right, lovely. So here's the preview. All right, let's blow this up. So here are the core archetype types that were on the wheel. This is just in a graph form. And I do want to give a strong shout out to both Lisa Furs, eBach Design, and HubSpot for helping me fill in this beautiful little cheat sheet for you guys. And I hope you use it and reference it yourself here. So anyway, this is how to read. Of course, there's the archetype that we're talking about, core desires that are underlying or on the surface, we'll say. The goals of that archetype and of the underlying desires, a mantra that would kind of explain somebody that's got that attitude, certain traits, and of course, things that they don't like. So let's just give this example right here for the innocent. So the innocent desires love, peace, and happiness for all. So goals, happiness for everybody. Mantra, why be negative when you can be positive? Traits, they're more optimistic, idealistic, honest, loyal, cheery, simple. Now, I also want to give this example of from Cheers, actually. So Cheers' Woody Boyd is the innocent. That's somebody that would fit into this archetype as a person. So if your brand is going for that kind of look, the innocent might be a great one for you to take a look at. So anyway, that is how you read these. And of course, you can get these. These are in the brand building workbook, which you can get through the newsletter. So anyway, I've gotten all of these broken down from 12. So we will go ahead and just run through the archetype, the core desire, and the main fear. So the lover, to make a connection, and the main is rejection or isolation. The jester, to enjoy life to the fullest, and the main fear being boredom or something being way too serious. The everyman, to connect with others, and the main fear being isolation or standing out. Caregiver, care, protect, and nurture others, don't want to feel helpless, neglectful, or selfish. The ruler, to gain control. This is for a lot of luxury brands. Just keep that in mind. So in our last example, we used Gucci and Prada. Those are both ruler creator types. So to gain control, they want to avoid losing power, being overthrown, becoming a joke. The creator, to experience or to create a perfect experience. Of course, that's one of ours. So why do you think we're so big on user experience? Same old is the worst possible thing that you can do to this type of brand. On the other side, I'll skip over the innocence as we just went over it. The sage, to find the truth, think Yoda. Misinformation and ignorance are the worst possible things. The explorer, to be free. Sorry, that was a hold on. To be free to discover. So they don't like conformity or safety, which can't relate. The outlaws do not like revolution, or sorry, want to create revolution. They don't like conformity. Hold on, got to put those back where they're supposed to be. Magician, to turn dreams into reality. Create. It's a big word for us. Create, create, create. Now, of course, part of that's creator, but we want to avoid ignorance, doubt, and conformity in general. So the hero is the one, this would be like, one example that always gets used is Nike. So that's a good one to put. So they want to master everything. Weakness and ability are the worst things in their mind. So let's go back to the stream here and remove my thingy there and put me back. There we go. All right, cool beans. So I'm back. I am back. So that's what the archetypes are, the 12 main archetypes, and why we want to use them in our brand. So now we want to do the how to use it in the brand. So choosing an archetype is the very first step. So you need to choose an archetype based on your brand value. So if you haven't already, go ahead and do that. List down in your brand workbook, and then move on to the next part, which is to create a story around them. So when we want to create a story around this here archetype, we give them a name, give them a little backstory. Why are they the way they are? You can pull in fictitious, real. You can pull in personal experiences that you were using to create your positioning. And we want to put it all together in one cohesive story from start to finish, inception to now. Now, of course, brand story will always be evolving, and I encourage you to append it or add on to it, whatever. So it's easier to connect with your customer if you do have a story and a theme. So that's the reason why we're going to go there. So after that happens, we're going to design your branding around the story. So design is a later on conversation that'll happen after we finished creating the story about your archetype, which is going to be in the next two parts. So anyway, moving on. After we've taken all of that together, we want to give it an initial design and start to test it. Of course, everything comes back to testing. So test and refine your design. So test your branding, adjust it over time as your needs change, as you start to realize, oh my God, we don't actually fit into this value. This one would be a better definition. You know, things happen to where you need to make changes. Less frequently because you've taken the time to do this longer process. So you've kind of got all of this nailed down pretty well. All right, so there's a couple of keys. There's actually 4 C's of branding archetypes. We want your brand to create connection. So create connection on an emotional level. By creating a brand with an archetype, you can form a stronger emotional bond. Continuity. So this keeps consistency. That kind of ties into the next one. The brand should stay consistent throughout everything. So the logo, the website, social media pages, copy, blog, no matter where you look, you should be able to say, okay, that's this person or that's this brand. Consistency. So maintaining the consistency, even as your customers change. So if you maintain consistency by choosing an archetype and sticking with it forever, you're always going to attract the same kind of person. So keeping consistency is one way to do that. Creativity. So of course you want to think outside the box. Don't just fit yourself into one of these mix, match, take a look at the archetype wheel for the full list and see if one of them fits way better than the ones that are the 12 key. Of course, you're not tied into these 12. But anyway, those are the 4 keys of archetypes in branding. That's everything that we need to know about archetypes. So let's recap. So we want to do to create a brand that really creates an emotional connection. It's way more than just naming your brand something clever and giving it a nice little logo and a website and promoting a product. It's way more than that. If you want the company to stick around forever, you want it to become a Coca-Cola, a Nike, an Adobe, whatever, the first brand that comes to your mind. Using an archetype in your branding is how you get from here to there. By putting the archetype in place now as a smaller business or just before you pivot into larger, it keeps it more consistent and more able to grow and flex larger and quicker. So all of that's really important. That's why archetypes are so absolutely important. That's why you need to nail it down. Of course, you can always reach out to me on Twitter or book time on my calendar if you're needing help. Or we are going to be doing soon, I will announce it on the next video, when that will be a live branding workshop, and it will be absolutely free. We will be going through all 10 steps together on one day. It's going to be about an 8-hour day with plenty of breaks because it can get boring. All right, guys, I appreciate you hopping on the live. And of course, as always, ask your questions, DM me, book time on my calendar. If you want your brand built for you, you can always book a call with me to discuss building an awe-inspiring brand and taking your brand to the next level. And everything is going to be A-okay. With love and light. Namaste, guys. Have a good day.